So at 7 p.m., we will call the Environmental Commission to order. And we will take attendance. Lewis?
Here.
Awesome. Pete?
Present.
Virginia? Crystal?
Here.
Michael? No. James? No. Jennifer?
Present.
Awesome. Chuck Bonacci, the chairperson's here. And our council representative, Daisy Walker, is here.
Here.
Awesome. We have some swearing in of new members. Right? That's our next item.
Okay, we're going to be swearing in, okay, Crystal Davis, Peter Blanco,
Good.
okay, and Virginia's not here, and James Schaefer is not here.
Okay. You were sworn in, though.
I haven't been sworn in.
And neither of you.
So we need,
Good kind.
we could do the,
This is a challenge.
but see, and now you may not have.
I don't think you have a quorum if none of us are sworn in, right?
But you can get.
Do you have to be sworn in during a meeting? Or can you
So
be
they've
sworn
participated
in
in our last meeting while we were meeting under Zoom. They were appointed by council. They just haven't taken the oath.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
So I think we're good. I just am confused to why we don't have the papers there.
You know what? I don't know.
That's okay.
Because I did mention to Shannon, you know, about something that I wanted because she knows going to be here. Had I known, I would have
Right.
made sure she got all the paperwork together.
So if we want to
Because you guys weren't up yet, were you?
Huh?
You weren't up yet.
Yeah.
You
Well,
were?
no, we're up now.
Now. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already been on 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. One, I don't know.
It was one.
Just 1 year. These are 2-year appointments. This would have been Crystal's
I was
second
like, let me
year.
look at my email.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah,
have.
they should be 2 years,
Right.
right?
Might have been.
Yeah, we were sworn in April 2nd, 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
April
2 years.
2nd when?
19,
Okay.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
we're
so
up.
it's time already.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to reapply.
Okay.
hmm
So we can swear in Pete and Crystal.
And Crystal.
How about me?
I don't have your.
We don't have the
paperwork.
paper for you to sign.
If you want to do the verbal swearing in, can you just scan it to us and we can return it? That way it'll be a PDF?
No, because we'll need the paperwork. I need to get it from Shannon.
Okay. That's what I was saying, if that was scanned to my email, I could sign it and return it.
Yeah. You know, what I'll do is, let me make a note, and you know, Chuck, you want me to talk to Shannon tomorrow?
Yes, if you can.
Okay.
Thank you, Daisy.
Okay, and who else was it, James Schaefer?
Virginia and James, you have the papers for, right? But they're not here.
Okay, I have, yeah, Virginia, and they need to come.
Right.
So is it just Jennifer and Michael?
I think Mr. Elk.
And
Lewis needs. So Michael and I must be on the only ones that are on the other side.
so it's 4 people. Okay.
Probably.
When is your next meeting?
It'll be in September.
Mm.
September? Really?
Yeah.
September 7.
What I could do, if you know, if you want, Chuck, you know, I could swear in to today. I could talk to Shannon tomorrow, and as soon as she gets your oath of office, if you could come to City Hall, let me know what time, and I can swear you in there.
I could do that.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So I have Michael Schuler, Lewis, Elton, Jim, Pope, 3, right?
That are here?
No, that need to be sworn in. Or no?
Just Jennifer and Lewis.
Jennifer Lewis.
We need their paperwork to be sworn in.
Right.
Okay.
That's what it's saying.
No, I think what she's saying is if those other people that are absent they could probably come to City
Right.
Hall as well.
Right. So I'll work it out with Shannon.
Yeah.
Because you guys would have filled out paperwork with HR, right?
Correct.
Already.
You send me an email or something like that to let me know when, what time?
Yes, I'll work with Shannon on it.
Okay.
So I made copies of this. Those I don't have, yours, I don't have for swimming yet.
Okay. So what does that mean?
That means that you're gonna have to be sworn in at a later time.
Right.
I'm gonna say I, and then you say your name, and then raise your right hand. Okay. I, Refillable, do hereby swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio, the Charter, ordinances, and resolutions of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio, and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties as a member of the Environmental Commission to the best of my ability, as I shall answer to God. Okay, what I need both of you to do is sign the bottom, and then I'll take that. Because Shannon needs a copy.
Today's May 4th.
Yes.
You were on 2 calls, right?
Right.
So this would have been your 5th meeting. Because we had 1 canceled. Or today would have been your 4th meeting.
Well,
We
yeah,
talked to
this
you-
would be the third. Well, if you're including the last one being canceled.
Yeah. Yeah, this would have been your 4th. So they're. And when did you guys interview or reapply?
Like a month ago?
Okay, so I think what happened is during the COVID time, because there wasn't face-to-face things, because Lewis and Jennifer have been on this commission for, this would have been their 4th meeting, had we met face-to-face, because we met twice virtually with both of them, and we had 1 meeting canceled. So your appointments are probably on a different cycle than theirs, and that explains why we didn't have documentation for you to swear in. I don't know why it wasn't.
So, you want me to give these back to Shannon?
So we'll give
and
those
she'll
two-
give them to you at your next meeting?
Right.
Okay.
Right, and I think they're taken care of. We'll just double check with Shannon to see how did we handle the folks that came on board while we were in a virtual environment,
Okay.
right? Because you guys would have started back in 2020 sometime, but we had almost all of those meetings canceled.
Yeah.
And then they allowed us to meet towards the end when they started to do more of the Zoom things.
So then you guys also skip the summer months for meetings?
Yeah, we're budgeted for 6 meetings,
Yeah, six
6 meetings a year, and we have 3 of them in the springtime, and they kind of coincide with our prep for Earth Day and our prep for the community cleanup days. And then We reconvene in September,
In September
October.
and October, yeah. So this is your 4th meeting.
Yeah.
And you have 2 more meetings after this.
Okay.
Okay?
Fourth, we
Right.
canceled one.
We canceled one.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right.
Okay.
One got canceled on us. I think it was a double booked room or something. I don't know the exact hiccups, but it's okay. So now we have to figure out who would like to be the chairperson. Are there any nominations for the chair?
Nominate Chuck Benashi.
Uh-oh.
Second that nomination.
Well, I'm flattered. There are times I don't feel like I do that good of a job, but
All right.
Chuck,
yes,
do we have a quorum?
we would because
I mean, if, like Jennifer hasn't been sworn in.
but Jennifer and Lewis have participated in 2 other. This would have been their 4th meeting.
Yeah, 2 other meetings.
So this would be Jennifer.
Her appointment would have started, and Lewis's appointment would have started sometime back in 2020.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, the appointment was done in the council meeting.
Okay.
I think you're right about the semantics of the appointment versus swearing in.
Sworn in.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because they've attended meetings, they've voted, and they've been paid. You know, we get a little stipend for attending, right? That's happened.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
I think we have to catch up with the paperwork because they've been involved already, Daisy. So to say that they're not now.
I'll work with Shannon for you tomorrow.
But you are making me nervous. Do we continue on or not? And my gut says that we've continued with them
Do what your gut says.
through the pandemic. They were part of our commission.
Right, do what your gut says.
So
All right.
they weren't to be sworn in today because this wasn't a new appointment.
Mhm.
So if there was an error, it happened last year.
Right, okay.
So it's not today's error.
Mhm.
Okay?
Good.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we need to talk to Dave?
No,
Okay.
but I'll mention today after we get this done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we can cancel or void if we need to
Yes.
redo something. I'm just nervous about it now. But I think we're good because I think we've done it.
Okay, yeah.
Do we have a rotating council person?
We have to have one council person here.
Yes.
Our official appointee is
Bill
uh,
Pugh.
Bill Fury.
Okay.
And
but-
he's not in today,
So
so
you're pitching.
I'm pitching in for him.
And Daisy has been on the Environmental Commission for almost 20 years.
Okay.
18?
Loved it.
So she's familiar with what we do. So we have a nomination for Chuck Panacci to remain the chair. Do we have anyone else interested in being the chair? Okay. Y'all want to vote? Anyone opposed?
You're elected.
Okay. Do we have a co-chair or a vice chair? Any nominations for that? I'll nominate Jennifer. Okay? Okay. I apologize. I didn't realize that we didn't print minutes, but our last meeting was discussed, basically, we discussed doing a virtual Earth Day celebration because we weren't able to do it face-to-face. And we discussed having a document shredding on June 12th. That's a go. Confirmed with Shannon that the invoice has been sent off. Service is aware. We're going to do that at the service department, the same location we've done it in the past. I'll get with Ryan Kennedy to get some promotion out for that. But June 12th will be our document shredding day. It's Saturday from 9 to noon. And it's the same vendor that we used last year, which had, or 2 years ago, because last year's was, this is essentially the one that we had scheduled from last year. It's the one that has had decent equipment and staff that could keep up. There's been another vendor in the past that we've used that the truck broke and
Oh, goodness.
other things happened.
Right.
So
Chuck, with the shredding, is there a minimum? Because, I may make an announcement at council next week. Is there a minimum boxes that, or right now, we're just doing the shredding and then you'll let the residents know how many boxes, bags that they
So-
can bring?
In the past, and we'll keep with what we've done in the past, there have been a maximum of 6 bags per household
Okay.
or
Can I
boxes.
say 6 bags, 6 boxes?
Yep, 6 file boxes or 6 bags.
Okay.
And it's a residential shredding program. This is not for the business community or that kind of stuff. And it coincides with helping residents recycle material, because all the material gets recycled. And we also ask that it's the right kind of things that are worthy of being shredded. So we're not looking to shred last year's newspapers. We're looking to shred things like the utility bills, the bank statements, unfortunately, maybe life insurance documents and that kind of stuff, legal things that have personal identifiable information on there. It's frustrating working the shredding event when you see junk mail come through and you see things that are not necessary to be shredded because it takes up the capacity. Because this is a very expensive way to recycle, but it's a good way too.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It is.
And I will attempt to, like I said, get in touch with Ryan Kennedy to get that out there on the city's website. And then we'll push it out through the different Facebook groups and that. Okay. I don't see any audience or any special presentations. Daisy, do you have anything to report from council?
You know what? No, I don't at this time. Due to COVID, and I'm sure, your activities were limited as with council meetings, were limited, and we did have some Zoom meetings, but no, I don't have anything to report at this time.
Okay. So then we'll go around the horn with the commissioners. Jen, do you have anything to report?
No, I thought since, Earth Day and COVID and all of that has happened, maybe we could get people more involved in our Facebook page. So I had highlighted some of the upcoming things that are environmental dates, like World Migratory Bird Day. Maybe we can post, this is what's in our area at this time, or Bike to Work Day is the third Friday of May. So I just wondered, is there a vetting process? I mean, I know the obvious things of what not to say, but is there a vetting process of what goes on there?
So the Facebook page is not, it's our commission's Facebook page. It's not through the city per se. So if it's appropriate, and I think Virginia is essentially our chair of communications through that. And she did a fabulous job pushing out things for the Earth Day, and I know you helped her.
Well, she did all the heavy lifting.
Well, when I read it, sounded like you were involved too. So, yeah, and I think that's a great idea. And there's, be like the electric car stuff. There's an event coming up in 2 weeks, I think. Some of my friends with EVs are inviting me to that. So those kind of things would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Crystal. Anything from the state level? Because I know you're involved with the governor. You were appointed.
Yes, I was appointed to the Ohio Lake Erie Commission, and so been very vocal there. And we are going through the state budget right now, state budget process, and very vocal on that. And then also instrumental in trying to amplify the environmental community's voice on how the federal funds that are coming to Ohio are being used to advance some of the environmental policies that we need, specifically for lead service line replacement, since Ohio is number 2 in the country
And what
For-
was that?
Lead service line replacement.
Lead service.
Yeah, Ohio is number 2 in the country for the number of lead service lines we have, after Illinois. And Cleveland is the number 2 city in the country after Chicago. And so we really need some investment in that area. And then on the lake issue, I think there's some opportunities coming. Maybe in September when we reconvene, we can have some discussions, because I know the Great Lakes governors are having their annual meeting in Cleveland in September. And so lots of opportunities coming in our area later this year, but just working on the budget right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks for bringing that, representation of our community to that high level.
Yeah.
Right, great.
Pete?
Well, I just wanted to mention that Twinsburg AYSO, it's American Youth Soccer Organization, it's our Twinsburg Community Soccer Program, started, the first ever spring session started about 3 weeks ago. Practices and games have started. The league, we've reached out to parents and coaches just to remind them with their kids, take refuse with you. Leave no stone unturned, I guess is the term. And as a board member, we've been monitoring the fields. We don't see a lot of trash left over, but some of the areas where they're playing at Dodge Middle School, which is not part of the Parks and Rec department, of course, but there's no trash cans. So that's just something to think about as a league moving forward. I just wanted to bring it to the environmental division. And baseball, Twinsburg Rec baseball will be starting pretty soon too, if they haven't started yet.
So more folks out in the parks is what we're
More
hearing.
folks out in the parks, yeah, leaving their plastic water bottles.
Yeah, it would be nifty if we could figure out a way to encourage youth sports to not use the single-use stuff.
Yeah.
Things have changed a lot. I remember when it was like the oranges didn't come in plastic bags when I was a kid playing soccer, and there wasn't each kid with their own water bottle. It was kind of like these little paper cups
Yeah, they go.
in an orange cooler that was like dirty and scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add something to this. Have the Environmental Commission considered natural fertilizers for residence lawns? I'm trying to get City Hall, well, I want to check on them to make sure that they're using like natural fertilizers, because there's articles, and I do a lot of research on that when the bumblebees come out of the ground, and the first thing that attracts them are the dandelions. So if we put fertilizers on the dandelions, I think we're killing like over 40-50% of the bumblebees. And same goes for the hummingbirds. So this is what I would like to see for City Hall and also the Twinsburg City School Districts, to let them be, the first to take the lead role in their lawn care. And then once we see where it's going with City Hall and the school systems, then perhaps we could let the residents know that if you're going to fertilize, let it be natural instead of using all those pesticides, because we're actually killing our pollinators, we're killing our bees, we're killing our hummingbirds, because the first thing they see once they come out is that bright yellow flower. And if we put poison on them, on the flowers, then it goes into the birds and the bees. So all I need is, like if you say, well, yes, Daisy, it's good, then I could present it to council, so possibly next year I could find out if the service department, what types of fertilizer that we use, and if it is natural, then we'll use natural. This is what we need to do.
Right.
This is what I want to see from a council point of view, because I'm at City Hall more than you'll ever know. And but I think if you're going to start something, you start with your own home first,
Right.
and then you take it abroad. So I just need your feedback. You know, if it's okay, if you support, I can make an announcement about what we can do. If you have any positive feedbacks or negative feedbacks, I think it would be great to do something and let City Hall and the school systems be an example of what it is to have natural lawns and so as not to decrease the population of the bees and the butterflies, because those are
Well,
our neighbors.
It spreads beyond that, Daisy, because it also filters into the water system.
Yes, it does.
So there are other ramifications besides the bees. So we have to think this through, because I know there are places that we want to have pristine grasses, and then there's spots that we don't. And I think we just have to be a little bit mindful of what we ask the city to do, because I'm thinking of balancing an aesthetic with what's right and how this happens. And I'm not prepared to make a decision or a recommendation just myself
Okay.
without knowing more about it. So maybe what we could have for our September meeting is we could have somebody from service explain what they're doing, and possibly somebody from the golf course to explain what they're doing. And those probably would be the two drivers of the city with most of the green grass that they have.
Right.
Now, I haven't seen like Glen Meadow Park near where I live. It doesn't look like they're putting weed killer on the open space. Now, the ball fields might be a different story, but near the pickleball courts and all that, it looks like it's. No, you're the gardener, so maybe I'm looking at something different.
Usually they put a pre-emergence on it so that the dandelion doesn't come up in the first place is what usually happens. Now, as you look around, you see fields of dandelions.
Yeah, you do.
Not like most of the people aren't doing that. But just if they are doing it in some homeowners association or something like that. Now I live in a homeowners association. They put out a pre-emergence. And I can't tell you whether that's natural or I'm sure it's not natural, as a matter, I would guess. Because I don't know that any natural pre-emergence.
Right. You know, I understand that in certain homeowners associations, whatever they put down, you know, that's what they do. But my neighborhood, you know, we don't have a homeowners association. It's an older neighborhood. But I noticed that, you know, I've been talking to the neighbors and they've been using a natural fertilizers in their yard.
The fertilizer is one thing, but the pre-emergence is what the people are putting down to keep the dandelion from coming up in the first place.
Right.
So you have the weed control, but then if you get the grass to grow thick enough, then the weed control becomes something you don't have to worry about. The challenge with the grass growing thicker is even the natural things that you're putting on there run off into the water supply and they create the algae blooms.
Yeah, the phosphorus. And so that's why I was going to say, like, you also want to balance the amount of, like, phosphorus and other contaminants or nutrients,
Right. So
not contaminants. The other nutrients that are in the fertilizer. So I think it would be great to just know what they're doing and what practices and how they're prioritizing selection of the fertilizer.
I think so.
As I sit here and create a presentation for Scott's Miracle Grow's annual meeting on Friday. I'm one of the speakers at their annual meeting on Friday because they do not use phosphorus in their Miracle Grow.
Okay. That's fine.
So that's why I'm toting my computer around with me. And so, yeah, I think that is something that it would be great to hear from them, just so that we can know that we're holding ourselves accountable and, you know, checking all the boxes to make sure that we know what's going on locally.
Okay.
Yeah, no harm in that.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
So hopefully, maybe in September, we could have the folks that apply those things come tell us, or maybe get a report from somebody that we could just read.
Okay.
Okay?
That would be great.
I think it would be interesting to find out what pre-emergence are natural.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you're talking about balance, I'm thinking of places like Metro Health, and, they have a beautiful lawn, but they also, in this new building, they're installing a pollinator garden to kind of offset, well, we don't, when dandelions coming up, but with the pollinator garden, kind of offset that as well. So, something like that might be interesting to look at as well.
I think so.
So Louis, do you have anything to add as a?
No, I have nothing to add to that. Just that the phosphorus bloom, I remember when I was, at one time they had a terrible problem out of Toledo with that. That's, for some reason, that seemed to be very, very bad in Toledo.
Still
High
is.
agriculture area.
Yeah. And they were doing studies to try to analyze the hydraulics of that and where it was going.
Right.
But that was a long time ago when I was involved. My company was involved, but I personally just wasn't doing any of that.
Right. Similar things happen on golf or near golf courses.
Inland Lakes, Grand Lake St. Mary's. It's Inland Lakes. It's Lake Erie. It's like half of my job. Is algae blooms and agriculture and water. So yeah, it's a big issue. Yeah.
Jennifer, you bring up a great point about pollinator gardens. In that, do we as a commission have the ability to promote within our residents pollinator gardens?
So for about a 3 or 4 year cycle, we had native plant presentations, and we had a native plant expert coming to our Earth Day celebration to talk about how we could take low-lying shade areas of yards and manage the water, and then also grow something that was pretty. Unfortunately, that resident moved on. And I know it's something that the gardening club has moved towards. We moved in a lot of ways away from ornamental gardens to more native planting, right?
So Virginia's the garden club.
Oh, you're not on it?
I attended, but I'm not a member.
Okay, sorry.
I can't speak on their
I
behalf.
get. So, that's been, I think, 3 years at the Earth Day celebration. We had an expert there for that.
Very good.
So, with respects to our Earth Day postings and all that, there were many Facebook posts. According to the data, we reached almost 1,500 people through that. So that's a pretty good penetration of households if you really think about our little Facebook page tagged onto a few other spots where we met. That there was a random drawing for either a round of golf or a pass at the swimming pool, and Tara Laganese was the recipient of that, and she's received the information on how to pick that up, and that should be good there. Virginia did a fabulous job of coming up with different things that we could do to be a little bit more environmentally friendly, like not running the water while you brush your teeth, things that I'm guilty of it. And her post made me think about it, and then I was like, okay, let's figure out how to sequence things a little bit better. Using refillable water bottles. It's interesting with drinking fountains shut down across the region, how that has impacted water on the go. Because most of the places have them shut down, and a lot of places kind of ignored closing them down, and then because so many other places have them shut down, you're scared to use the ones that are still open. But more and more places are putting the ones that fill the bottles, and it's nifty, and they have the little counter, how many bottles you saved. So that's awesome, and that was one of her things. And then excellent work in respect to that. And I think that's all I had that I could remember right now. But the document shredding, again, June 12th. We're going to hopefully fill the truck again. It's always the goal. And we'll encourage people to get there early, because sometimes it does fill up. And that's frustrating. There's a chance that we have some outside help with us, and I'll get with Shannon. There were some ideas or community engagement that the National or Army Reserve units wanted to get involved with, and it depends on the person that she was in contact with, if the 12th is a drill weekend, if that's going to happen. So we're circling back to see if that's to help with traffic flow.
For the documents writing, can you get that into the bulletin so that people are aware of it? The Twinsburg bulletin?
And we'll get a little posting in there. We'll do it. We'll get it for a community engagement thing. They'll post it for us. They have in the past. Interestingly, with the bulletin, many neighborhoods are having a challenge because it's hard for them to find delivery drivers.
I know, I've not gotten a bulletin in weeks.
Yeah. Half of Twinsburg's without a driver.
Really?
Yeah. So basically like off of Chamberlain, Bell Meadow area, Blue Drive, Bell Meadow, Sharon Brook, all the way down Chamberlain Road, not a driver. Or not a delivery, a consistent delivery. Which some people are probably happy because some folks don't bother to read it and it sits there on the.
They changed the format, or maybe a different bulletin. It's different now than it was.
The size of it changed a little bit.
Okay.
It's narrower.
Yeah.
But it's still a good paper. It just hasn't been coming to a lot of the residents for whatever reason, and I think it's the driver, the delivery person. Because you guys haven't, in your neighborhood, it hasn't come.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's been about three or 4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks, guys.
Yeah, it's been about a month for me.
Yeah. So that's all I had. Is there any other new business or miscellaneous things? No. So September 7th will be our next meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? We have to excuse the absent members. I'll make a motion to excuse our 3 absent members. Second. Anyone opposed? Nope. We're excusing the absent members. That's awesome. And then we'll meet September 7th at 7 p.m. in these chambers. And between now and then, we'll have the documents ready on the 12th of June. So we'll adjourn at 7:37.